Love is one of the strongest emotions someone can feel, and everyone kinda knows what that is. Well, except for Mick Jones. Describing it in words can be done, and it's not a hard task. Off the top of my head, it's a strong attraction or a positive emotional response to a person we care about. But describing how it feels is a little harder, and it can come in many different ways. There's this passive love that you have for your family that's always there. You want them to be safe, you reassure them when they fail, and you cheer them on when they succeed. And with other love, sometimes you get this deep burning passion for someone you've been seeing for a while. And while this burning passion may fade as the relationship progresses, the love still remains strong. There's this desire that many people have where two people fall in love and grow old together, and it's beautiful and wonderful, and they're old, sitting on a porch reminiscing of their youth, and it's the perfect happy ending. And other times you find this person and have some amazing years together, and then it gets cut short. It's at this point I want to draw your attention to the indie puzzle game Call of the Sea. It was developed by Out of the Blue and published by Raw Fury. Fun fact, this is Out of the Blue's first, and at the time of recording, only game they've made. Call of the Sea is about the journey Nora Everhart takes when discovering that her husband Harry Everhart has gone missing on an island expedition. Nora is suffering from a mysterious illness, and the point of Harry's expedition was to find a cure for her. Nora receives a mysterious package from an unknown sender that says her husband has gone missing on his journey and is presumed dead. Unable to accept this, she decides to travel to the island herself in search of the lost expedition, and most importantly, the love of her life. When Nora reaches the island, she discovers that this is the island that has been plaguing her dreams recently. She explores further in and comes across one abandoned camp from Harry's expedition. Harry's team consisted of Harry, reporter Cassandra Ward, mechanic Frank Dayton, dermatologist Ernest DeWitt, stuntman Roy Granger, and their guide Tia Haroa. As Nora rummages around the camp, she learns that the expedition discovered a strange well that is filled with a black goo. It appeared that the well was used in some sort of ritual with the islanders. Roy blew up the well with dynamite after the team was unable to replicate the ritual. The explosion killed Roy and sprayed black goo onto DeWitt's arm. DeWitt developed skin blotches that look like Nora's. Nora manages to replicate the ritual, and the well fills up with the black goo, with her still standing inside. She experiences a vision in which she walks up a cliff into a river and transforms into a sea creature. After, she wakes up aboard the expedition ship, now beached and abandoned, with a massive claw mark in the hull. Exiting the ship, she happens upon another abandoned camp. She discovers that DeWitt, having gone insane, stabbed Frank and disappeared. The team had used an organ, the musical instrument kind, that was carved into the rocks to open a pathway to a temple on the peak of the island. Nora proceeds to the temple and finds that the expedition team was using loudspeakers and the organ's music to try and open the door of the temple. The noise, instead, caused a landslide. Nora restores power to the loudspeakers to try and gain access, but is knocked out, and instead dreams of a desert covered in the bones of sea creatures. As she moves through the desert, she finds her mother's music box playing the organ's song. As Nora begins to sing, the temple door opens and she finds a note from Harry. Okay, now here's where the game will get spoiled. I can't make this video without spoiling the game, so if it has interested you so far, go play it and then come back. Alright, so the note explains that Nora isn't actually sick, but she's transforming into something. Now what she transforms into, I believe, is something from H.P. Lovecraft called the Deep One. It's essentially a race of intelligent fish people, kinda like that dude from Invincible. With this news, she travels further into the island and comes upon a weird gateway that allows her to transform back and forth between her human self and her amphibious fish people form. Using these gateways, she comes upon an abandoned village that housed slaves to some unknown masters. Nora finds another note from Harry that explains that the masters would take their slaves to a sanctuary to complete their transformation. Harry is looking for this sanctuary and intended to go through this transformation so that he and Nora could be together forever. This concept led to Cassandra and Tia Haroa to argue, and Tia Haroa leaves the island. Nora journeys to the sanctuary where she finds sea creatures that treat her like family. She begins to feel more alive than ever. At the sanctuary, she finds yet another note from Harry that seems to show evidence that Harry is losing his mind. She follows a bloody trail into some sort of throne room and finds a mutated body on the throne, with Harry's spectacles next to it. After some initial shock, Nora realizes that the body belongs to Cassandra, who shot Harry and attempted to transform to become immortal, but instead died in the process. Harry figured out that the ritual wouldn't work on him and left. Harry tried to fake his own death in order to get Nora to proceed with the transformation and save herself, but being the wise lady that she is, she figured out the body was not Harry's. It's at this point that Nora can make the choice of completing the transformation or reject it. You make this decision as the player, but I think the appropriate ending is if Nora rejects it, and I'll explain this further. The game can be looked at as two separate timelines. The first is of Harry Everhart, an explorer with a deep desire to save his wife. He goes on this life-threatening mission with others in order to cure this mysterious disease in hopes that he is able to save his wife. The team gets there, proceeds amazingly far into the strange island, and Harry comes to a realization. Nora isn't sick. Her condition isn't a disease, but that she is a descendant of a strange race of immortal amphibious beings. And if she doesn't complete the transformation, she will be resigned to an eventual death at the hands of the illness. Harry, knowing that she would never accept the transformation with him still being alive, fakes his own death. He leaves behind notes that attempt to convince Nora that he is going to undergo the transformation and that he has gone mad. It's convenient that Cassandra has gone crazy and shoots him and dies, as he can try and trick Nora into thinking that the body is his by leaving his glasses next to it. He does this out of a deep love for Nora and a desire for her to live a healthy life, free from the pain and coughing fits that her condition brings. And the second timeline is the actual game. It's Nora Everhart's journey. She cannot cope that her husband has died on his mission and single-handedly goes searching for him. No team, no guide, just Nora. She proceeds through these puzzles and figures out things that a full team of experts couldn't, out of a sheer desire to find her husband's whereabouts. And even upon the discovery of her husband's body, won't admit that he died. She pieces together the clues and knows Harry so well that she figured out his plan of the fake death. At this point, I think the canon ending is that she rejects the transformation. In doing so, she returns home to find a still well and alive Harry. She lives out the rest of her life next to the love of her life, and the credits roll as she and Harry sing Dear Old Pal of Mine. The song is interrupted by some of Nora's coughing fits. The game ends with Harry growing old alone, knowing that whatever choice Nora made, they would never grow old together. I think this ending, although arguably more depressing, better demonstrates the love story from both sides of the relationship. Harry loves Nora so much as to fake his own death to try and give her a healthy life, and Nora loves Harry so much that she would reject immortality to spend a few more years with Harry. And I honestly think that this ending makes Nora a more intelligent character. She knows Harry so well that faking his own death for her is something that he would do. Nora knows of the sacrifice Harry has made and makes a sacrifice of her own to preserve their love. To wrap things up, I think Call of the Sea tells a great fantastical story of love that many people may look over in favor of the mystical setting or puzzles. If this is the storytelling we can expect from Out of the Blue, then I'm hopeful for any future releases. Ultimately, this game, and this ending specifically, answers the question of what wins out between love and fate. Nora rejects her fate of becoming a fish person and chooses love. And yeah, maybe love doesn't last forever, but you've got to cherish the times when it's there and present, so that if and when it gets cut short, you can look back and say, "Thank you for being part of my life."